plugged on, the electricity passes through these vehicles or equipments, and the electricity manifests as light, heat and sound. In the same way, when the BMI are plugged on to life consciousness, consciousness screaming through them manifests as PFT. Now why? What is the plug? So that I may plug it off. Is called actions. Just as I am called as father in my house, as so-and-so supervisor or superintendent in the office. In the office nobody calls me father. It will be a very tragedy. In the club they are neither calling me as a father, nor do they call me as supervisor or superintendent in my office. There, hello Guy, oh pal, hello Johnny. They call my name. But I am the same. Don't forget that. Similarly, vasanas itself at the intellectual level is called desire. The desire vasana, when it is at the mental level, is called agitations. Vasana, desire, agitation, when it is at the body level, is called as actions. Therefore, if there are good vasanas in you, noble desires, beautiful thoughts, kind and divinely sweet actions, cultured man. If your vasanas are bad, desires are vulgar, thoughts are stupid, actions are criminal. Therefore you, the PFT is good or bad, cultured or uncultured, spiritual or unspiritual, according to the vasanas. Because it is to express the vasanas that you have manifested. Please. Carefully. No hurry. Because these fundamentals, once you get it, you will find every scripture an open book for you. It's not that need necessarily be Bhagavad Gita only. Read Quran, it becomes very, very clear. These fundamentals are the basis of all scriptures. Because these are universal truths. Now then, friends, think for a moment. If vasanas are too many in me, desires are many, naturally therefore mind is 24 hours in agitation, isn't it? So can't even get sleep, must have pills, yellow pills, red pills, green pills to sleep. Such an individual is today here, tomorrow in Hong Kong, day after tomorrow in China, want to start a factory, they're reluctant between. Why? Too many desires. And he himself is surprised why I have got it, but then I cannot keep quiet. The man to a large extent is incapacitated. Thus an active, dynamic man is extroverted totally, and day and night working 18 to 19 hours a day, and even in sleep he has got the book, scrapbook next to him that he gets ideas he has to copy. Right? This kind of a guy is one who has got too many vasanas. Now, if supposing by some method the vasanas are reduced, less vasanas, don't think that I am just making it as a school classroom. It is subtle. So if I am repeating and one gentleman feels that I am repeating, remember there is somebody else in the hall who is not at grasped it, and therefore I am catching him. See? Because the face, everyone is looking at me, but then from the face, it's clearly, I don't understand. You understand? Until everybody's eyes become bright with their idea. Now I got it. I will continue. I will repeat ad nauseam. So that those who are feeling that I am repeating, apologies. But remember, have the charity in your mind that he must be repeating because there must be still a guy who did not understand it. So don't get restless. Only realize that you understood it only when I said for the third time. There is another guy who wants 2 more helping. Let us be charitable. Now then, friends, if the vasanas are less, desire eruptions are less. Therefore, agitations relatively less. And desire-prompted activities naturally, proportionately less. Now supposing, and now the answer must come from you. Now supposing there is a method, let us say, a mysterious secret method by which we can give up and remove all vasanas. Let us suppose, as an idealistic example, when there are no vasanas, what would be the condition here? No desires. Therefore, no agitations. You are saying it now, not I. Therefore, at the body level, no, don't say no actions. No desire prompted activities. You may continue breathing. Breathing, why? Desire has ended. You understand? No desire prompted activity to acquire, to enjoy, to indulge, to embrace the world of OET. That will not be there. So where vasanas are exhausted, my intellect is not pulsating with any desires. My mind is therefore serenely calm. Not even the desire to realize him or the truth. No demand even for peace or tranquility, please. And no desire prompted activity. That is called samadhi. Dhi means buddhi, intellect, sama, equal, meaning no ripples of thoughts arising in the bosom. An intellect without thoughts is not an intellect. Or else I can say that my table is very intelligent. Why is not expressing? It's not expressing, that is all. You understand? Intellect, an organ or an organ is because of its function. It is not functioning. Its function is to think, plan. It is not planning, thinking. The mind without thought agitations, it's no mind. Silenced mind is no mind. In deep sleep, you have no thoughts, and therefore we say the mind is at rest. You have no mind also at that time. Physical body, a body that does not have any egocentric activities. It is just a vehicle to express the divine glow. Thus, such a moment when physically I am not acting, emotionally I am not entertaining any feelings, intellectually I am not initiating any new thought. Still moment of utter meditation, where you are alert and vigilant, not sleepy, not dull. Alert and vigilant, aware of everything, but aware of neither a thought, nor a desire, nor an action. That is the moment when PFT awakes to the pure self. Because since the intellect is not working at the entertaining any thoughts, there are no thinker. Since their mind is not having any emotions, there is no feeler, there is no perceiver. The I who was the perceiver, feeler, thinker was when I was functioning through the BMI. The BMI is removed, and therefore I, not as a PFT, but as the pure self remains, isn't it? When a policeman undresses, where is the policeman gone? After all, a policeman also at home, he'll have to undress, isn't it, before going to bed. When he puts on the uniform early morning, a terrible monster, a dangerous guy, an arm of law, merciless, especially when he brings out that book. He can do that. When he has undressed and in his pajamas he is sitting at home, policeman is hanging in the wardrobe, isn't it? The uniform. But he is not zero. The son of his father is sitting in his bed going to sleep. The son of his father, when he puts on that uniform, he becomes a dangerous guy, the police. Isn't it? When the Lord, the Supreme Consciousness, dressed in the uniform, BMI, becomes you, the miserable guy. The impotent, the fellow with all agitation, all worries, anxieties, problems, disappointments, disillusionment, blah, 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 blah. No, you understand. Don't throw it away. Hang it on the wardrobe. What remains is no more Mr. PFT, the sufferer. The pure essence, the life, the spark of existence in me. And at that time when I realize it, I should realize that, I am not in this body only. I am the one which is the spark of existence in every living creature. Is it not? Or do you think that not? Your spark is separately. When a pot is there, the space in the pot, we generally say pot space. But when the pot is broken, my pot space is separately moving about, is it? Huh? When the pot is broken, the space that was in the pot becomes one with the universal space where the sun and the moon and the stars and even this earth is moving. Thus consciousness, conditioned by the pots that are here, became Mr. Me, you and she and he. When the pot is removed, no more am I the pot space, but I am the pure space. I am the space in all pots, and all pots are in me. I am not in them. So in the awakening, it is not a movement. It is not a place or time different, but it is just where you are. The truth is to be revealed. And he who covers it, the veil, is my own vasanas. So I must know somehow to reduce these vasanas in me. Now remember, how do I create these vasanas? Or why did God create God, poor man? He has nothing to do with it. You yourself did it. How do we get these vasanas? I have got the vasana, the tendency. My thoughts run in a particular channel. And I am helpless at this moment. By evening 6 o'clock, my thoughts, all of them gush down only in one direction, the drinking booth. And let us have some more. Beyond that, no other thought come to me. And therefore, at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, I move to the drinking booth. I am called by the society a drunkard. You mean to say that I came from mummy's bosom with a bottle in hand and said, give me a glass. I came as an honest little baby, isn't it? How did I become thus a drunkard? Helpless, alcoholic. Is it not by consistent, regular practice of every evening, sincere devotion towards it, the whole day thinking about it, the whole night playing with it, and the next day morning waking up with a headache which reminds me of yesterday, day and night, within and through all other activities. It's nice, nice. Yesterday we had that, today we will have this way. Like this consistent practice, a time came when you are a Mahayogi. Your mind has become yuji, joined with it so completely that no other thought can ever come. Even if anybody talks to you of anything else, you remember it and see it only through bottles. Bottles are the main things in the front. So that to such an individual, even if you say that, no, look, Asiatic countries, there is a food scarcity there. Oh, I see, food scarcity. There is a famine and poverty also. Oh, poverty. But what about drinks? Are they available? He is not worried about food scarcity. Drinks available. He remembers only drinks. Tell him that there is a war there. Oh, war. What about the drinks? Let us go to the picture. All right. And what about drinks? This idea is there tagged on to everything. Constant meditation upon it. It is by our own BMI activities in the world outside that we create the vasanas. You and I have come here with the equipments in order to exhaust the vasanas. Instead of exhausting the vasanas, if we are living the world in such a way that we are creating new vasanas, are you not creating more and more hang-ups? Your language I am talking now. More and more hang-ups means more and more you are getting involved in the world rather than getting yourself released. Therefore, there must be an intelligent scientific way of contacting the world of OET with BMI, whereby the existing vasanas get exhausted and day by day we are released into more and more peace and security, serenity. unintelligent way of living with the world is such that as days pass by, we gather more and more vasanas so that our entire life becomes loaded, whipped by our own inner urges. Thereafterwards we go from action to action. Think. It's not on the board. I again repeat, because later on, don't make me feel a sinner or a criminal that I made you understand that with the board I confused you. Board is only a convenience for both of us. When I give you a cup of tea, please take the tea and give me the cup back. Don't start eating the cup to reach the tea. Similarly, this is only a conveyor to convey to you this knowledge to be conveyed. So you take the knowledge and give me back the board. Don't hug on to the board. I mean, think in yourself. Such intelligent way of contacting the world outside, at the physical, mental or psychological and intellectual levels, whereby as I act on physically, mentally and intellectually in the world outside, my existing vasanas get easily exhausted and no new vasanas are created. And when vasanas are reduced, I have already pointed out, less desires, less agitations, and thus inwardly a great opening up, a great peace comes to well up into the bosom. And this inner peace is called happiness. This inner peace is called bliss or satisfaction, contentment. But at this moment as we are living, we are adding on to the vasanas. There is no harm in entertaining a desire. You no harm in striving to fulfill that desire. But strive it in such a way that when that one desire is fulfilled, it doesn't bring more load in you. Then we know how to discover satisfaction in life. In short, you suddenly find that I must have some soap and therefore you go to the supermarket to purchase a soap. When you go to the market and purchase the soap, you come back more miserable. Why? I saw 3 more things there, which is very good, but I couldn't afford it. You went there to end one need, to fulfill one need, and you come back creating 20 other new, fresh needs. Thus in this world, when we take up this manifestation, we have to learn the art of rightly contacting the world outside, and these are called the right way of contacting at the body level in the world of objects is called karma yoga, the yoga of action. To turn our emotions rightly to the world outside in such a way that the existing emotional vasanas are exhausted and no new vasanas are created is called bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion. To contact the intellect and the world of thoughts in such a way that the existing vasanas get exhausted is called as jnana yoga, the yoga of wisdom. In all these, it has been found that when I act in the world outside, centered in my ego, carefully, repeat in your mind. Then only you will understand. It is subjective. When I act in the world outside, ego-centered, I always create more and more vasanas. When I act in the world outside, instead of ego-centering myself, if it is God-centered, we find the existing vasanas get exhausted and no new vasanas are created. Think. Thus in all religions, it is said that God-centered act in the world outside, dedicated unto Him as His instrument, act in the world outside. Not for selfish gratification, whereby when I am God-centered and act on in the world outside, it's called karma yoga or the path of action service. Our mind becomes purified, meaning, carefully, these are the words, technical words used. Our heart, purification of heart. Our mind becomes purified means the mind and intellect's agitations reduce. Pure mind is peaceful. A peaceful mind is heaven. An impure mind, a sinful mind is in agitation. Mind and intellect's agitation is put you into hell. When the activities are undertaken, you must undertake. Don't run away into a cave all of a sudden. With all the load of asanas in you, you go into the cave and try to meditate. What will you meditate? Desire after desire is rising in the mind. At least in the town, when the coffee idea comes, you can have coffee. There is no coffee idea, there is no coffee. So you suppress the coffee idea because it's not available, is it? And the whole night no sleep because you are drinking coffee in the dream. Suppressions. Until at last you come twisted, distorted, a caricature of a man. Your personality turned, tortured. You have to prepare the equipment before you can take off in meditation. This hurry-burry of an American, come on, instant meditation. You can show off that you are getting off, but you won't get off. Therefore, no crash also. You can't take off until the equipment is ready. You mean to say that it is so easy as that a Swami comes from India and says, come on, all sit down, close your eyes, meditate. If that be so, why did that great master wasted 20 years? Another guy comes and says, I will touch you. What? Spirituation. Just as electrocution. Come here. Did you see God? Yes, that is God. Go. This is all commercialization. It has no science behind. Is it? If by a touch I become God, unfortunate. When that touch is removed, I become mud. No, it is evolution. So that here, all activities at the body level, when it is undertaken, not ego-centered, but God-centered, and ideal-centered, you find that the vasanas get released. The mind has got a lot of emotions. All our emotions ultimately springs from love. Even if I butcher you, murder you, if I can trace back, find it is all love expressed wrongly, is the murder. The most inhuman criminal murder I may commit. I kill you, and then you ask me, hey, why did you kill him? No, the fellow insulted. Whom? My wife. Who is your wife? Man or woman? A woman. Who died? A man. Why? The man insulted a woman. If a man insults a woman, will you go and kill every man who is insulting every woman in the world? And that is a different thing. This is my wife. Is not your wife a woman? Yes, but I love her. Oh. I love her. And somebody said, insulted her. Then I became angry. And my anger is directly proportional to the amount of love that I have got for her. Until it has decided that he must die. When you analyze it, you'll find that every emotion rises. It is all different expressions of the ultimately love. This love contains in the mind. Today we are turning it towards the world outside in order to bring happiness to the individuality, ego-centered. To withdraw these investments of love in the world outside and apply it to Him who is in all. And centering my love at that reality, I start loving you all. Because you are all cathedrals of that infinite reality, moving temples of that reality. When does the person who has turned his love to Lord and turns his love towards the world, because the world is the expression of my beloved. To turn the love towards him thus is called devotion, the path of bhakti. And path of jnana, path of wisdom is our every human intellect has got its rational, scientific capacity to think, analyze. That analysis and their capacities are all wasted at this moment to analyze the world outside. To turn that scientific acumen in you, like the last 2 days, yesterday and today, in analyzing ourselves and trying to understand the depth, the reality in the depth, the spring of all activity, to turn thus the intellectual capacities and intellectual rationing abilities in grasping the reality, turning his attention to the reality, is called the path of the intellect or path of knowledge, the jnana yoga. Centered in him, to act at the body, mind and intellect level, in this very same world of OET, you cannot avoid it. You cannot run away from it, because these are the exact environment ordered by the type of asanas in you. The infinite wisdom of the Lord has placed each one of us in the right, appropriate environment. But while we are exhausting these blueprints, we are creating new programs. Because we are egocentrically acting. To turn it to God-centered activities at the body, mind and intellect level is called yoga. Turning our attention towards the higher. Yuju, to join. Yoga meaning to yoke. At this moment, the mind and intellect's attention is totally turned outward, to the world of objects, emotions and thoughts only. Therefore, we live in revelry. We live in indulgence. We are seeking happiness or the perfect state of living in the outer world. When the attention of the mana is turned inward to this essence in ourselves, that is called yoga. So in Sanskrit, turning the attention of the mind and intellect towards the higher is called yoga. And in order to make the student understand, the turn the attention towards the world outside is called bhoga. So easily the students there in India will understand the difference. The extrovert, sensuous living of seeking our happiness from the possession of objects outside, our dependency on the world outside for our happiness. This is called bhoga, life of enjoyment or indulgence. And to turn the mind away into the very source of bliss is called, the mind at that time, in that condition when you are living, is called yoga. In order to turn the mind's attention towards inward, the vasanas must be exhausted. In order to exhaust the vasanas, we have to live in this world in the yogic attitude. When sufficiently long we have lived at the body, mind and intellect levels, the yogas of karma yoga or bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, the yoga of action, of devotion and of knowledge, when you have lived, the vasanas get exhausted. When the vasanas get exhausted, the pressure of vasana in the mind and intellect will become less. Meaning, desires are not gurgling as before, nor the mind is agitated that much. When the mind and intellect is thus quieter, calmer, the attention of the mind and intellect automatically turns towards the higher. This turning the attention of the mind and intellect to the higher is called meditation. This one I have said so far in the last 2 days. Oh, never mind, 15 minutes. 2 days constitute the entire theory and techniques in the Vedantic philosophy. If once you know this chart and this idea, now you are free to read any book, any philosophy in the world. You will immediately be able to grasp it in terms, refer it in terms of yourself. And you will be able to fix up what aspect of philosophy is that given philosopher is emphasizing. There will be no confusions. We have almost summarized the theory as well as the techniques by which the limited individualized ego can come to experience an awakening in itself into a higher level of consciousness, the state called the Supreme. This, what we discussed for the last 2 days, is the philosophical core in the Upanishads, the most ancient spiritual literature available in the world. When I say most ancient, it is not to connote any special qualification for it because it is old. In fact, an idea, older an idea, greater it is questioned. But here we can make it as a compliment in as much as this idea being tested and retested almost every generation. And every couple generation or every few generations, we find the explosive expression of a great saint or sage who have walked this path and has confirmed the validity of this philosophy with his own direct personal experience. A philosophy or certain conclusions arrived at by these men of wisdom who followed these paths of self-development and have actually come to directly experience in themselves this awakening and demonstrated to lesser people like us their extra divinity in the beauty and resplendency of their activities in the world outside thereafter. Such a philosophy, we'll have to accept it lock, stock and barrel, because it has been confirmed so long by various people in various periods of time, maybe under different circumstances. And if it has been valid and proved to be beneficial, down the era of more than 7,000 to 9,000 years, such a philosophy we need not question but can start practicing.